The power that made the body
Heals the body.
doesn't happen any other way. Right? Right? Stand up. Get into your physiology before we start. Get your feet tingling. Joe Dispenza said, unless it's in your physiology, it doesn't mean anything. Wiggle your toes. We're going to start this on the count of 3. We're all going to shout this out. Power made the body, heals the body. But we're going to have that feeling in our toes. Okay. Are your toes alive? Are they? Can they feel it? Can they feel it? Can they? On the count of 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. The power that made the body heals the body. Doesn't happen any other way. Okay. Let's sit down a minute. Most of you have been to the leadership program, right? Life Leadership. Recommend Jay and Kathy Hant. I thought this was interesting, and I want to share it with you. Their son-in-law, Ben Silverman, is a golfer. He just won the tournament in the Bahamas last week. And he came in contact with, what's the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers? Aaron Rodgers, right?
Aaron Rodgers.
What do you know about him relative to maybe the way you think?
His father is a chiropractor.
His father is a chiropractor. See, he wants to answer all the questions. He's still in school. He's in his 109th quarter, and he now knows the answers.
1.38 GPA.
So Aaron Rodgers' father's a chiropractor. What did he do that was relative to maybe the way you think?
He's anti-vax.
He's anti-vax? Okay. This is interesting. So he was at a guest in the Bahamas where Ben Silverman just won the tournament. And so he went over and talked to Ben. Now this is Ben Silverman, is Jay and Kathy's son-in-law. Okay? So he had a little discussion with him. He said, we got something in common. There's a celebrity and pro golf tournament, Pebble Beach, coming up in a week. So he says to Ben, I want you to be my partner and we'll play golf together. So Ben's going to be with Rodgers, Pebble Beach. They both have this thoughts of immunization, anti-vax and things like this. And let's see where this can go, how far it could go. Maybe we'll get them down at Life here. Aaron, that'd be nice to have Aaron Rodgers come down and visit us at Life, wouldn't it? Yeah. It's all that sit there as a potential, okay? Now, before we get started, if I get this here, I want to read something to you. If I can give enough energy. I don't like reading things, but I thought this would be a good way to start out here. B.J. Palmer. Everybody recognize the name B.J. Palmer? Yeah. So if you're new in chiropractic, B.J. Palmer is the one that developed chiropractic. That's why we are where we are today, okay? And so it says here, I am a chiropractor working with the science of the universe by turning on life to man through the art of adjustment. How's that sound? Can you identify, like B.J. Palmer saying this, that maybe this is the same thing that you're thinking about? I do not prescribe, treat, or diagnose conditions. I use only my hands. I work with that mysterious something. What do we call that mysterious something? Innate. This is a safe place you can say these words. With that mysterious something, which created my body from 2 cells. This is a miracle. This is interesting. Anybody's familiar with Famous Amos cookies? Okay, I met Famous Amos and he was telling a story about he had a child, and this was from his second marriage, that he was able to be there for the delivery and help deliver his baby. And he said it was the greatest miracle he'd ever seen in his life. The excitement of seeing this child come into the world. So this mysterious something creates our body from 2 cells. It's like, wow. how sometimes we doubt the power that's within our very physiology, that power. It's not just that it's biology and there's nerve pressure and nerve energy, and there is this mysterious something we call life. Isn't it interesting we call Life University life?
Yes.
See, at the last leadership program at the banquet that night, Dr. Rob Scott had me get up and say something about life. And I was talking about life because life stands for that mysterious something, that thing that bonds all of us together, connects us all. So it's not by just accident Life University is called life. It's not by some other name, it's life, because we recognize this magnificent power innate that flows through all things. At a time prescribed eons ago, I was set into this body to experience. This is BJ talking now. That cosmic power which created, which also moves the seas, rotates the earth, directs the heavens, and gives life. And the reason I'm reading this is how many of us go through life and we start to discount what's going on inside of ourselves. We don't even marvel anymore that this thing is in life. It means that when you cut yourself, when you smack your fingernail, you never get the fingernail fixed, do you? You grow a new one. That's pretty phenomenal. You watch it and it grows a new fingernail. And you say, well, of course it does. But it does not do that in a cadaver. Because there's no mysterious something we call innate. The cosmic power which created, which also moves the seas, rotates the earth, directs the heavens, and gives life, takes it away, is everything. And that power which set the universe in motion, created me, did not abandon me when I became free of the security of my earthly mother's womb. It is still with me, protects me as it moves all forms towards their final predestined goal. It is not mine to educatively ask why or where, but to innately live and live to help my fellow creatures. And with the chiropractic adjustment, I use all the power, energies, moving this universe to allow my fellow creatures the chance to live free of disease.
That's right.
This is why we have this Spizz night here, because sometimes we lose sight of the excitement of what's happening in the universe and what's happening within each and every one of us and this power that's in us. We start to take it for granted. We start listening to what the world says, that you're going to get this when you're sleeping with the bedroom window, when the creeping crud comes in and gets you when you're not looking. I wish nothing in return, only the chance to give. I give with the only thing I have, love. And I love all by removing that which interferes with 100% life. I do not look to others for direction. I look within. I am the perfect expression of God living 24 hours each day for others. I am a principled chiropractor. Now, this is a man that lived his life that way, and because of that, we're here today. And because of that, many of us are alive today because of that. And many of us have been able to heal from many different conditions. Amber Jackson, aye.
There's some seats over here. Oh, these are empty. Yep, 3 over here.
Amber is a practicing chiropractor for how long? A year now? Two years?
Almost.
And it's interesting, she was in her first quarter when she came to the Spizz night. So if you're in whatever quarters, eventually you get out. She gave the Spizz night the first quarter. And then we talked about Inner Winners, which is a program we'll talk about a little bit later. But Inner Winners is about a direction of living your life from within out. Like BJ just talked, living your life from within out. And she said, wow, she says, every year I give myself a gift on my birthday. She said, so this year I'm going to give myself inner winters as a gift, remember? And she came to several inner winters after that. She came to Spizz nights after that. She went on to school. You were an ambassador, weren't you? Ambassador, very active in school. She brought her mother to Spizz night here. She brought her son. He's not with you this time, but we wanted him here. She brought her son. He was a dude this tall, and he's this big now. And she's a successful chiropractor today. See, that's the direction all of you are going in right now. All of you. If you want to. But as you go through school, you can't be intimidated by all this outside-in stuff. And intimidation, it's like they constantly are telling you that you're being under attack. And it's like, no, you're constantly under the protection of an innate wisdom within you that controls your physiology and knows how to maintain your life, keeps your immunity up, keeps you functioning in life. So what is your purpose in life? At the Life Leadership, I asked everyone that was in that audience, because everybody didn't speak, and I said, it's interesting, why were they there at the Life Leadership program? I could ask you, why are you here? It's not by accident you're here. Something brought you here. Because you were notified, along with 700 other students, about tonight. But something was motivating within you and pushing you. Says, I'm going. You may not even know why. And you may not even know why 6 months from now. But there's a reason you're here. The fate of the world right now rests in your hands. Where do you want to take it? What purpose do you have in life? What is your purpose? Is your destiny to be a difference? Or to be the difference? Because no matter how you do it, you will be a difference. The thing is, when you go to bed tonight, are you going to be satisfied with the difference you made? Because you may choose to do nothing and watch the world go by, and the world's different because you did that. Or you say, I'm going to be the difference. I'm going to step up. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to lay my hands out. I'm going to start adjusting and taking care of, telling the chiropractic story. And what did BJ said? I do it because I love. Not for any other reason. I do it because I love. So why are you here? Why are you in chiropractic? Khalil Gibran says, your work is love made visible. That's how you show love, by the work that you do, the things that you do, that you give out to the universe. Somewhere along the line we think, well, I need to make a lot of money. You need to do a lot of things. You need to be conscious of what's going on within yourself and respond to that and keep responding to what's going on within you and get out into this world. And you can be the difference right now. You don't have to be a chiropractor to share. I've told this story, some of you have been here before, but you're all familiar with the Lupo Field. Well, how did the Lupo Field come about? Because Dr. Lupo was sent to life to become a chiropractor. Something touched his soul. He already had a business. He was making money.
I sent him to school.
He was making money. He was a contractor. And when he heard the message, he decided, he said to his wife, he just had a baby, I'm leaving for Atlanta, Georgia. You can follow me. Pack up the baby and get down there when you can. And while he was in school, he brought another 24 other people with him to become chiropractors. How many people have you brought with you to become a chiropractor? It's not when you become a chiropractor that you can tell the story. And where did he get these people that he told about chiropractic? They were all friends that were his back home. He says, oh, you all need to be a chiropractor. You need to hear this story. You could be the difference. Let's change the world. Isn't this a time right now that we can do that? Because what is happening in the world today? Things are scattered. People are looking for leaders. People are starting to discover there is this immune system within us. There is something within us that's greater than what's on the outside. They're waiting for your leadership right now. But you could say, I'm only in the first quarter. The first quarter of what? Of life? You're always going to be in a quarter of life. You're always going to be someplace in life that you can choose, I'm going to be the difference. Dr. McCullough, Mike, Leslie, they come from Alabama to be here. They're chiropractors, seeing hundreds of patients a day. Why would they come here? Why would they want to be with you? Because they want to be around the energy of the people that's going to change the world. Because they're some part of a bigger picture, right? That's why they're here. And that's what brought you here. And this is what will sustain you. So the thing is thinking about, what is my purpose? What's my purpose in life? So without further ado, we'll have Dr. Leslie. She's going to come up, share a few words. We'll have a few different doctors talk, share a few words about.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Leslie McClellan. I've been a chiropractor for about 27 years, and and I'm 29, and he was my teacher, so he taught me when I was in diapers.
And I remember changing them. Sorry, Mike.
You guys, I really found out I was going to be doing this a few minutes ago, but I'm ready. Watch this. We're ready. We're ready because of the lasting purpose. And the lasting purpose is right here, living right here, when Dr. Ribley is 84 years old. Okay? And his wife, Sunshine, is...
He's 83, I'm 84.
I missed it. 80. Okay. So he's younger than you. Ooh. Anyway. Well, y'all, every 3 months they pack their basement with young, growing minds. Why? Why would they even bother? Don't you think they're done?
Never done.
No. The purpose is, it comes from here. The love, the heart, because of what we do and why we do it. And that's what's so amazing about the purpose. And it's not like you have to jump on this jolly bandwagon. You have to figure out your purpose and your reason that you're participating in this, because that is the driving force. Because lasting purpose brought you here. I don't care what quarter you're in, how old you are, it doesn't matter. You are here for a reason. You're here for a reason. And understanding that the main thing is the power that made the body heals the body. Above, down, inside, and out. Above, down, inside, and out. It's not outside in. It's from above, down, inside, out. It's not, oh, you ever got a cough? Here, shoot it. Oh, did you get that thing? Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Did you get it? Did you get it? It ain't happening, because why? The body can heal itself naturally. Think about this, though, and then I'll get to some point that I'm going to make, I promise. But there's the thing, a sperm and an egg. Our office is full of pregnant people and babies. Before I got here this week, I adjusted a 90-year-old person and I adjusted an 8-week-old baby. Okay? Ah! That's a dream! And I got trained when I was in diapers. But the thing is, A sperm and an egg meet. Okay, this is what it does. It makes a brain, a spinal cord. Oh, yeah. A heart, and I'm not going to say everything. Lungs, a liver, a pancreas, a gallbladder, nerves, blood supply, nerves, like, okay. It does all that for the sperm and an egg hidden inside this. And then when you get it out, you're like, like, it ain't happening. The power that made this body can heal this body without all that. I'm an my husband's a chiropractor, so we had our children at home. Okay, he wants to say he delivered. It ain't happening. Okay, he maybe rubbed my back and caught, but but anyway, our first child, Austin, which y'all may have heard this story before, but it's worth saying. It's worth saying, people. There's people in here that are not in chiropractic school yet. There are little minds that have to understand that, like, the birth process, although beautiful and natural, there could be challenges. So we, a 24-hour labor with my first child, lots of stresses. My mother had passed away 3 days before going into labor, and she was actually being buried the day he was being born. So you talk about God giveth and God taketh away. It's a really beautiful story, but very difficult to go through at the time. But he was born with meconium. Do y'all know what meconium might be a little bit? Meconium, I don't know where you are in school, but meconium is tar-like black substance, like it's a bowel movement inside the womb, and it's just floating around in there. Well, it got in his lungs. And if you can imagine tar in their lungs, and we're sitting on the living room floor, okay? And it's like, well, is he breathing? And we're like, well, not really, not yet. Let's see what we can do. And then Dr. Mike grabbed him, adjusted his spine, and threw up the meconium all over the place. Woo! You guys, that's amazing. And you think about that. It wasn't just luck. It wasn't just luck. That's how it happened. That's how the body is made so beautifully. And so thank God he's here today. Ta-da! So anyway. Sorry. See what you've created?
From day one.
Okay, but again, I want to respect the fact that I'm supposed to be talking about the purpose, the lasting purpose. What is your purpose? So that's why I want to ask you guys to all of you just close your eyes and just dream. Just dream for a minute of what you feel like your purpose is. Your dream is. Just keep doing it. Just think about it. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? What do you hear? Okay, what are those dreams that you have for yourself for the future? And with that, the lasting purpose of giving, loving, and serving. And let me just give you an example. Like when I found out I was doing this talk, I happened to have this thing in my car. It's a little puzzle. Okay, you can open your eyes. I'm not giving this away. Sorry. That here is a vision. Just say, this is a vision of your dream. Just say, whatever your dream is, here's a vision of your dream. There you go. That's your dream right there. Okay. then what are you going to do? Okay. Oh, it's going to be easy. That's my dream. That's my dream. That's my dream. Wait a minute. You mean I have to put it together? I got to, wait a minute. So here's the dream. Here's the dream right here. So I know most of you just kind of, when you do a puzzle, you just want to do the outside of it and say, okay, it's all going to come to me. You think it's all going to come to me? No. And how about when you get stuck up here in the white mountain and you can't even find the puzzle piece to put it in there? What is that? What is that? Well, I graduated from chiropractic school, and then I'm going to go walk into a practice and make $100,000 the first year, right? No. Okay, good dream. Remember, you have to build around the outside and knowing that your lasting purpose is still in here. You've got to build. How many of you, when you're doing a puzzle, go, okay, all right, let me see that. Oh, it's brown. Here. It's got to fit. Yes, that. And it doesn't fit. I understand that you guys have to work the process. It builds on each other. Just like a baby growing in the womb, it doesn't just go sperm, egg, boop, sperm, egg, boop. No, it's about this. It's about your lasting purpose. This is just the dream that I want you, kind of an example when I asked you to close your eyes and dream. This being an idea of, okay, that's where I want it to be. But understanding the way to get there is by giving your talents, giving of yourself, serving the people, serving them even when you're tired, even when it's hot, even when it's cold, and giving, loving them too. Loving is the fun part. Loving is the fun part. But there are times when there's patients that are absolutely unlovable. Yes, but you have to remember the reason that set you on course and that set you on fire, because we have our profession is so young and we need so many more of you. We do. We're begging for more qualified people to get out there and just understand what we're trying to say. But the only way to do it is for us, the people that are chiropractors and the people that necessarily are, you don't even have to be a chiropractor to talk about chiropractic and get people to understand what we're doing. I have to tell another story about my daughter, and I will clean up my mess, I promise. But yeah, she is a senior in college in West Palm Beach, Florida, playing college in Florida. What did I say? Playing college. Yeah, she is playing college, isn't she? No, just kidding. She actually, I don't want to go off on this, but I really like talking about it. She's all-American, and she's a goalkeeper, and she's well-adjusted. She's unvaccinated, and she fought the fight. She had to go through college, and even during that the pandemic, all the situations in school where they're just wanting to put everybody in a box and say, if you want to play, you have to get shot. She refused. But the story is, she's in class, and a young guy raises their hand and says, what is like the chiropractic profession like? Do you think that would be a good one? And the professor said, chiropractic is awful. It is terrible. Don't even do it. You should be a physical therapist. Don't do chiropractic. Don't do chiropractic. It doesn't even make any sense. My daughter's in the back of the room, and she went, okay, I've had enough. She stood up in the back of the room and said, my mother's a chiropractor, my father's a chiropractor, and my brother is in chiropractic school at Life University. And if you want to go to a good school, you go to Life University. And the teacher was like, oh, God. and then the boy turned to her, and they exchanged numbers, and the fella called Dr. Mike and I, and this past last weekend, that boy was at Life Leadership. Woo! And now and he's starting in the fall. But also just add this part. But the next class, the professor came in and said, "I've been watching YouTube." And and now your assignment is, I need you to watch these YouTube videos because chiropractic, there is something good about it. And so their assignment was to learn more about chiropractic, which I thought was pretty cool. But my daughter's not a chiropractor and doesn't plan on being it. But let me just rewind that into, we raise them with a lasting purpose. We raise them with this in mind. Our dream in mind. So however long it takes to build this, to put all the puzzle pieces together, it will show its face once, when it's time, in God's timing. But so us raising our children with the lasting purpose has now affected the next generation. And then we're going to bring other chiropractors to change it. But guys, there's not enough. There's not enough of you guys. We need more chiropractors. But and to be able to fight the fight, because it's a grind. I'll be honest with you. Friday afternoon, I was looking at my watch going, 2.5 more hours. I can do this. I can do this. I had to go in the bathroom and just go pull myself together because it's been exhausting. But then as soon as I got out there and the doors open and they all come flying in, you forget about it. And you forget about it, you forget about yourself when you're serving. So I don't know. Do you think I did okay? Do you need any more? Okay. But I'm just going to put up what? I'm just going to put my puzzles, what?
Casey said, I hope you're not missing a piece of it.
Well, the whole point is that you're going to dream your dreams. You got to fight the fight. It doesn't always look the way you think it's going to look, but you have to stay on purpose, and you got to keep your eyes on where you're going, because the road is very windy, but it's so worth it. So there you go.
I'll take Mike. We need everybody to
Thank you.
that's here. Sign your name, that you're here. Information. Make sure it's legible so I can read it.
Purpose, love, serve, give, and do out of your own abundance. But what's the first thing you do before you do that? You awaken to something within you. You awaken to that guiding light, that mysterious something within you that gives you direction in life. You awaken to what brought you here today. So you may not even realize what was pushing you that brought you here. But the more you start to listen from within and start feeling these little pushes here, it takes you where you want to go. Everybody here is not destined. Everybody in the world is not destined to be a chiropractor. I think they should be, but they're not all destined to. I was at a leadership program like a year ago, and this young fellow, he came with his girlfriend because she wanted to be a chiropractor. He liked what he heard, and when I was explaining at Life Leadership, we don't do life leadership for you to become a chiropractor. We do life leadership so you can find something within yourself. What is that dream within you that you can start to live now? Hopefully, you were brought to a life leadership. We think that chiropractic might be the direction you need to go. And he said, I like this thing about chiropractic, but I have a push within me about being a teacher. So we had a discussion about that. So when we went to the dessert party, he said, can we continue this conversation? So we went to the dessert party over at Socrates Cafe afterwards. And we kept talking, and he said, I just feel there's something within me that I need to be a teacher, and specifically social studies. And I said, wow, do we need more teachers that are directed from within? Do we need more people that are directed from within? I have a good friend. I sent her to school in 1972. So she went to Palmer. We hadn't opened Life yet. Linda Rassel. Her and her husband went to Palmer, becoming a chiropractor. And while in school, she had two children, and she had another 3 children. And all her children became chiropractors, except one. Lived with this understandings that we have, but she became a medical doctor because she wanted to work in the emergency ward at the hospital. Now, if you were in an accident and you went to the emergency ward in the hospital, would you like somebody taking care of you that thinks the way you think? Okay. So we need to take, and that's why at Life University we do more than just teach chiropractic, right? We have the positive psychology. We got business courses. We got nutrition programs. We got the physical exercise physiatrists, all these various things where you learn and you come from our perspective. But the most important thing that we have at Life is the lasting purpose understanding is to do the will of God. Dr. Sid said, what is lasting purpose? Dr. Sid is the reason we started Life University. He was the man behind it. Lasting purpose is to do the will of God. Love, serve, give, do. Give out of your own abundance. You like being part of something that's bigger than yourself? You like being part of something that you can sublimate your educated, your ego, for an inner direction from within yourself? Each of us have these pushes within ourselves, but how many are responding? You responded, and you're here. So, next up, we'll have Dr. Rubin. He's going to give us share 15 minutes about purpose in life.
All right. My topic tonight about purpose is going to revolve around the concept of listening. So I am, blessed beyond measure that Dr. Chuck Ribley and Dr. Sid Williams and Dr. Ian Grossum and Dr. Jim Sigafus and Dr. Dick Santo planted that lasting purpose into my brain years and years and years ago. July 1993, you may not remember that DE, but I do, because that DE was my calling, not to become a chiropractor, because I was already a chiropractor at that time, but to become the chiropractor that I am now. Because when I first graduated from Life, I graduated with the crazy amount of debt, just like all you guys are going to be graduating with. But I came from nothing. My parents, we had a 1-bedroom apartment. I lived on a pull-out couch. So they did not give me this, like people say, oh, you're so lucky because maybe like your parents got, no. I had no help, I had their love, but I had no help, no support financially. And it was that July DE between what I heard from Dr. Chuck and from Dr. Sid and all these other greats, right? I'm standing on the shoulders of giants now, right? Thank you. And it's amazing because of all those people that I named, he's still here. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck, for being here. More than I can tell you. And I found the calling also because another faculty member at Life University at that time, Dr. Larry Webster, who was the founder of the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, or ICPA, he kind of took a liking to me when I was in school. And the first several years in practice, I was not really pediatric focused, but he and I kept in contact. And in 1995, a little bit after this 93 thing, he talked to me and he said, Drew, I really think you need to think about where you're practicing and how you're practicing, like where your practice is going. I was very into, I'm a hockey player, so I wanted to take care of athletes. That was my big thing. And he said, no, I think you really have to think about autism. And at the time, autism was like not much, right? It was starting to uptick if you look at the statistics, but it was just this low level thing. And I was like, autism? Like you mentioned that like for a sentence or two in class, that wasn't really big. He said, Drew, I'm telling you, we need more people out there studying things like autism, and I want you to do it. And I'm so glad I listened to him, because now my day is filled with taking care of kids on the spectrum. Now my day is filled with taking care of all kinds of kids. I'm a pediatric-focused chiropractor, and I want to relate the purpose, the giving, loving, lasting purpose that Dr. Sid and Dr. Chuck and all these others gave to us, and how it works, and how you listen. Because in chiropractic school, you're taught to touch. Everything's about touch, touch, touch. It's your hands. And I'm telling you, you've got to pick up some other senses too while you're at school. You've got to learn to listen. And I don't just mean listening with your ears, but listening with your hands, and listening with your eyes, and listening with your heart. Because there's another level of adjusting that you're going to learn, hopefully, by going through this program. And that is to listen to where the kids are. So, for example, I had this little boy yesterday. He comes running into, every time he does, he's 2 years old now. I started adjusting him when he was pregnant, his mom was pregnant with him. Now he's 2 years old. He comes running in every single time. Dr. Ruby, Dr. Ruby, Dr. Ruby. And he comes running in, and he doesn't care who I'm with or whatever. He busts doors open, and he just comes in, just gives me this big old hug. And yesterday he says, Dr. Ruby, love you, Dr. Ruby. Like B.J. Palmer said, what greater joy? What greater joy could I have than a little munchkin like this to feel that love with me, that he has, not because of who I am or how funny I am with him, but because he knows that he's getting connected, right? He, like these little kids that you've been adjusting for years, and you and all of us, they know there's something deeper because we listen in a different way. Right? We're not just, it's very easy to be a chiropractor if you wanted to think about it this way, and just have a conveyor belt and go, ba-chung, 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 next, ba-chung, ba-chung, ba-chung. I'm not a machine, right? I'm not a robot. And I can sense what these kids need. So one of the most important things that I teach a lot, I teach at Life also, one of the most important things I teach our classes, especially the pediatric classes, is sometimes kids don't want to lie face down, especially if they're on the spectrum. So you just do whatever you got to do to get these kids adjusted. Like, I'm uninterested in actually having every single baby and kid lie face down, even though that is a chiropractic bench, and that is the purpose of this, but probably 50% of my kids don't lie face down, and that's totally okay. So here's another kid who comes in, and he's on the spectrum, and I call him the little torpedo, because what he does when he's on the bench is he does lie down, but then, and I'll do it, let's say I'll adjust his atlas, and then he'll flip over, and then I'll look at his sacrum, then he'll flip over, and I'll work on his cranium, and then he'll flip over, and he just flips and flips and flips and flips. And you could say, if you wanted to, if you didn't listen, if you didn't have a purpose, you could say, stop there. Hey, mom, hold him over here. Hey, intern, hold her over here. And I'm just going boom, 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 and I'll just do my thing. But what I do is I listen and I say, okay, I'm going to adapt my technique to him. I'm not going to put my technique on him. I'm going to adapt it to him, how he wants to be adjusted. I don't care how he wants to be adjusted. You want to go on the floor? You want to play with some toys? You want to sit? You want to sit on mom's lap? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me, right? And here's the key thing. Here's a kid who's on the spectrum who kind of spends most of his time flapping like this. And after every adjustment, you know what he does? He hugs me. And his mom says, he doesn't hug anybody but my husband and I. You're the only other person he hugs. Why does he hug me? Because I love him and I get him. Do you think he goes to any other doctor's office and they get him? Do you think he goes to his ABA therapist and they get him? No, they say, sit down, shut up, this is what you're going to do. But in my office, I say, whatever you want. And he knows that. And you can see he smiles every time he rolls over. He knows he's saying to his little brain, I'm getting one over on Dr. Rubin again. I'm going to turn and turn and turn. I'm going to make him work for this, right? But that's okay because I don't mind. Because I speak his language, right? Like just because a child does not actually speak, like verbally speak, doesn't mean they don't speak. They have their own language, right? Children on the spectrum, the minimally speaking ones, have their own language. I speak his language. I speak autism. You need to learn that if you want to be a pediatric chiropractor. You need to learn how to speak autism. You need to learn how to speak ADHD. You need to learn how to speak dyslexia. You need to learn all these things because that's giving loving purpose. That's to give, to love, to serve, to do. That's what that is. And we have another child on the spectrum who comes in, and he was, I don't know where this all started from, but he's going to probably be what they call a polymath. A polymath is someone who's like unbelievable with numbers. So he's 4 years old, and this kid talks in numbers. He doesn't really say hi or have any kind of communications, but he talks in numbers. And don't ask me how this whole conversation started, but a couple of visits ago, all of a sudden, he's like, he's always saying, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, and he's just like always counting numbers. So one day he said 2, and I said 2. I put my fingers up like this, and he's like, ha ha ha, 2. And I said, yeah, and he goes, 4. And I go, 4. And I said, now this is my brain, my linear brain, like this is the Drew Rubin, I'm a very linear thinker. So I said, wait, what about 3? He goes, no, 2. Now I could have corrected him. No, 2, 3. That's how it works. That's the rules. Let's follow the rules, everybody. 2, 3, 4. You don't miss it, but he doesn't want to do it. He likes even numbers. That's his thing. So he says 2, and then he says 4. And I go, okay, 2, 4. And he's hysterical laughing. I'm like, this is great. And I said, how about 6? And he looks because he's probably never seen anybody do 6 like that. He goes, well, you can't do 6 any other way. I don't know how else you do it. But 6, right? 6. And he's looking like, 6. And then he goes, 2. I'm like, now I could have said, no, what about 8? Like if you want to do things, let's do it the right way. Let's do even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. He didn't want that. He just wants to do 2, 4, 6. So our entire conversation is 2, 4, 6. And he laughs and laughs and laughs and laughs. I speak his language. His language is numbers. He's going to be a polymath. Fine. Thank God they find that out at this age of 4 years old, that this is where he's at. Who knows, this some kind of number-based career that he's going to be doing something brilliant in, right? Isn't that amazing? But the amazing thing is that we let him do that.
Who has a black Alexis? Black Alexis by the truck. I don't know if it's a truck or not. I did. The cop just told me it was by the stop sign. I don't know.
Ooh.
It's mine. Just got it. That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Everything is meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen, right? That was supposed to happen, right? I look at that. This is the grand design of everything. Innate intelligence has its own ways, right? So the next little kid who comes in is a child I've been adjusting since she was like 3 years old. Now she's like 12. And she comes in and she hands me, she said, Dr. Rubin, I made you something. I said, oh, really? What'd you make? And she takes out this little origami thing. And she says, it's a crane. And I'm looking at it, and my linear thinking is going, it's not a crane. I don't know what this is. And then she says, it's a bird. I'm like, yes, it is beautiful. Thank you so much. That is really, really cool. And it was absolutely amazing. I don't know how she folded this thing. But isn't that amazing to think like she thinks, I've been adjusting to her now for 10 years. She thinks so highly of me that before she even comes into the office, she's already folded this present for me. And then another kid comes in and he says, Dr. Rubin, here's my cookies. I went to chick salad or whatever it's called. I never eat there. But a chicken salad chick thing, right? And you know the little cookies they give you these little pack of cookie things? Chicken salad chick, that's it. Yeah. So he hands me these cookies. And he says, I want you to have them. I'm like, oh, right. Now, I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. I don't eat these things. But what am I going to say, right? Once again, am I listening? No, thanks, buddy. I don't eat that because I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. And, right? What would he think? What would this 8-year-old kid think? Like, huh, right? He would be upset. He'd get really mad at that, right? I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That was so thoughtful of you. I really appreciate it. Give me a high five, buddy. That's really nice. Thank you, right? Because I listened. I don't need a teaching moment about, let me teach you what gluten-free and dairy-free means. He doesn't need to learn this right now, right? He needs to see the love that I have for him. He needs to see that I really care about him. He needs to see that I appreciate the gift. I appreciate that he went out with his mom and his sister to eat, and he saved his cookies for me. And that's what he wants me to see, right? Not what the gift was, right? Not the exact contents of the gift. He's not thinking about that. He's just thinking, what can I do to give something to Dr. Rubin? And then I have the last one I'll talk about is this young lady who's 15. And I've been adjusting her since she was in her mom's womb. And now she's 15. And she says, Dr. Rubin, do you remember when I was 7 years old and I said I wanted to work in your office? I said, yeah. She said, I'm turning 15 soon. I said, really? She said, yeah, so this year maybe I could start working in your office. I can only work on Friday nights because the other nights I'm in school day. But with that, you still game on that? I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in. Could you imagine someone thinking from the time they're these little babies and this is her big aspiration, right? That she's been thinking about. Like, I can't wait to be this age to work for Dr. Rubin, and now she's this age. And so to follow someone like that linearly and to know the love that we have poured into her and her family, and it's because of the lasting purpose, right? It's because in that July 1993 DE, Dr. Sid and Dr. Chuck and all the others were pouring stuff. Now, there was an audience of like 3,000 people there, but they were pouring it into me, right? That DE was for me. And I talk about that July 1993 meeting all the time because that was life-changing. That was life-changing for me. So Dr. Sid, I know he was talking to everybody, but he was looking at me when he was talking. Dr. Chuck was looking at me. Dr. Sigafus, Dr. Santo, they were all looking at me because they knew I needed to hear that message. Maybe you're here tonight because you need to hear the messages that everybody is saying tonight. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Did everybody sign the sheet that went around? Is that a yes or a no?
No, not yet.
Make sure we keep it moving, okay? Did everybody get a raffle ticket? All of them are in the hat? Okay, very good. They're all in here. Everybody's got a ticket? I think that was interesting. Dr. Rubin was talking about exactly what BJ said, why he did everything. The reason he does all this, because I love. If you can take anything away this evening, just take that away. I do what I do because I love. Gohel Gibran says, work is love made visible. So we're having a little raffle here. Dr. Harmon was kind enough to bring a couple posters.
One poster, 2 books. Save the poster for last.
Okay, what's that?
Save the poster for last.
2 books and a poster.
2 books to the poster. 3 separate prizes.
Okay, 3 separate prizes, okay? So we'll do the... Oh, this is good. Money, chiropractic and you. See, you could still love and have money too, right? You know, money gives you ability to do more and give more. So, we need somebody that would like to draw the winning ticket.
You can barely reach it.
And she'll read it out nice and loud.
Okay. Y'all ready?
Yes.
086402.
There you go. There you go. That's from Dr. Harmon now.
Free is good.
The next one here we got, Dr. Harmon's got, is the Ultimate Chiropractic Success Guide. How's that one sound? Huh? Pull a ticket. And if you pull the winning ticket, someone's going to love you a lot.
Maybe it might be me.
That's right.
It's not.
Want to draw a different one? It's the wrong number.
That's the wrong one.
All right, I got 086422.
There we go. Now, the two of you will be connected for the rest of your life, energy-wise. That's it.
Another big grand prize.
Hand me that one then. Keep me.
No, it's not a Grateful Dead question. Well, when my partner and I had our website business and we had booths at different venues and different events around the country, we printed up 2 runs of about 5,000 of these, and we would just give them out at our booth. And it's a motivational poster that my partner wrote. I actually ran up to Michael's and got the frame today, so it comes framed. Right? And it's called My Mission for Today.
How about reading that off for everybody?
Sure. My mission for today. I'm a chiropractor. Today I will love everyone, serve everyone, and give the message of chiropractic to everyone I contact. Every man, woman, and child needs my help today in becoming and remaining subluxation free. At no time today will I withhold the truth of chiropractic for fear of rejection. Today I'm an expert at correcting subluxations. I will correct subluxations on everyone I care for. When I do this, the power within them heals them every time without exception. I can, in capitals, help everyone I see today. Today I ask for the strength to serve all those who are coming to see me. I ask for the love to give fully to each one individually. I ask for the innate wisdom to correct every subluxation I lay my hands on today. And I ask for the authority to convert others so that today, capital T, they may share in and spread the truth of chiropractic. Today I serve God by serving others through the gift of chiropractic. Today I am a chiropractor. My business partner and old friend, Dr. Bob Braille, who was the 9th president of ICA, wrote this. Probably gave out about 10,000 of them because it was the right thing to do.
Wow.
Okay, so
That's very nice.
Is that the mission? Is that the message we have today? Huh? Sure. Want to draw one?
Me?
Sure. Everybody loves you right now.
And only one person will.
086403.
who's got it?
And before he sits down, so without any further ado, Dr. B.J. Harmon will share his wisdom.
Wisdom. Well, everybody enjoy the prizes. I keep meaning to bring 1 or 2 posters every time we have this. I always leave them in my house. But this time I had it. I pulled it out about a week ago, ran up to Michael's today. And for those of you who are wondering, where's my wife? Because we travel, we're like joined at the hip. We got the grandkids for the night because my daughter's birthday was a couple of days ago. And she said, can you watch the kids on the 28th? I said, well, we normally have something. And my wife said, don't worry, he'll come home. I'll watch the kids. So how many chiropractors are in the room? Doctors of chiropractic. 1, Okay, Dr. Leslie, Dr. April, Dr. Drew, Dr. Bruce, Dr. Ribley, almost, okay? Dr. Mike, Dr. John,
There was one sitting here, but he went to the bathroom.
Dr. Jim, okay? Dr. Jim. It's a Saturday night. Every one of us could be somewhere else. But you know what? We make it our business to commit to being here with you guys once a quarter, okay? What is a speaker's worst fear? That the speakers before them are going to steal their message, okay? Every speaker before me stole some of my shit, okay? So thank you for being here. I'm going to sit, no, just kidding. Everything starts with a vision. And back in the early 1970s, a group of really crazy chiropractors had a vision that it was time to start a school. Okay? As Dr. Rubin said, most of them are gone. Dr. Ribley is still with us. They were the crazies. If you've ever seen the commercial about the crazies, the Bill Gateses, okay? Just flew right the hell out of my head. Apple guy, Steve Jobs, okay? That's what happens when you get to our age, okay? It's called a brain fart. Okay, most of you know I blame the 60s, but that's a whole nother story. There's a commercial about the crazies. Acceptance of the status quo is wrong. The crazies are the ones who say, I see the status quo and it should not be the status quo. We need to make a change. Well, Dr. Sid and a bunch of crazies walked on Ormond Beach back in 1974, and Dr. Ribley was there. And I'll just talk a little bit about a few of the guys that Dr. Rubin talked about. There was Dr. Jim Sigafus. Well, let me back the truck up. Dr. Ribley's got 7 chiropractors in the family. Dr. Bruce, all of the kids, 2 grandkids. Dr. John, who's related, Dr. Bruce's brother, Dr. John Stevens, Dr. Bruce Stevens. I've known their brother for 45 years. He was a classmate and roommate of my friend who gave me my first adjustment. So when you think you're not linked, we're all linked. And on the way in here, I had a feeling Bruce was being, I was thinking, where the hell's John? Is John, and he's sitting back in the corner back there saying, staying here with Bruce. And I got to see their mom at 92 or 93, 94. I told him all I want to do at 94 is breathe. But Dr. Ribley was a role model. Okay? Dr. Jim Sigafus, 5 of his kids and a couple of other kids within the family, all chiropractors. Dr. Sigafus came into a DE meeting once with a long ponytail on, a headband, doing a Willie Nelson imitation, and he called himself Nellie Wilson. Okay? He was one of the crazies. Dr. Dick Santa would get up on Friday evening, dressed in all black, okay? And he would be up there as if he were sitting in a sermon for an hour. Some people would get up and yell and scream and be out. Dick would just stand there, soft-spoken voice. Dr. Sid taught us, speak with authority, okay? Dr. Santa would have us grilled and glued to the seat. And he would usually be sandwiched between Dr. Mike Nathanson and Dr. Bob Satilli. Dr. Nathanson was a friend and mentor. Dr. Bob Satilli. Dr. Satilli's son, Dean, is still out there practicing with his wife, who's also a chiropractor. Her brother is a chiropractor. They're all, it's a family kind of thing. Do you have mentors? Do you have people that you can listen to, that you can grow with from, that you can learn from? I was fortunate to grow up in the DE movement of the 70s. And every one of these chiropractors had passion. They all knew how to move bones 6 ways to Sunday. And you could walk into Dr. Ribley's office on a Wednesday evening, he'd be doing his lay lecture. You could walk into Dr. Jim Gregg's office on a Wednesday evening, he'd be doing his new patient orientation. Dr. John Hoffman was my favorite, sorry. I love John dearly. John was an ex-Marine, and he said, people are out there fasting, people are out there exercising, people are out there running. He'd get into his car, drive into his neighborhood, roll down the windows, crank up the stereo just to piss off the neighbors. Okay? Are you crazy enough. How many of you students, well, all of us, when you told your family, your friends, I'm going to chiropractic, someone would be a chiropractor, and they looked at you and said, you're crazy to become a chiropractor, why don't you become a real doctor? How many of you heard the word crazy? Well, you know what? Prove to them that you're overqualified, that you're too crazy. The world belongs to the world belongs to the crazies. The world will follow the crazies because we don't accept the status quo. We want to be something different. We aspire to something different. People want to hear something different. That's what your purpose. Your purpose isn't to make money, okay? Your purpose is to change lives. And as a byproduct of your intention to change lives, you will be rewarded with riches and wealth. And there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Okay? I am not rich, I'm wealthy. We're comfortable, but I'm wealthy. Now I got a wife that loves me. When she says, BJ, I love you, I go, why? Okay? 45 years we've been together, 2 kids, 2 grandkids, 2 sons-in-law, and my younger daughter and son-in-law just moved 4 hours away after getting out of Miami. Boy, she is happy as a pig in shit to get out of Miami. They had a beautiful condo. 22nd floor they were renting. You looked out and you saw Biscayne Bay and Key Biscayne and the ocean beyond it. But anybody live in Miami? Man, it has gotten exhausting to live there. They're 4 hours up the road in Charlotte. That's a hop, skip, and a jump. I could drive there with my eyes closed. It's nice and close. Okay? Wealth and riches. We are part of a profession that has so much to offer. So much to offer. And we have to give thanks to all of those that made it possible. Okay? Dr. Sid he was a tough cookie. Okay? He was a tough cookie. And with Sim, it was black and white. There was no gray with Dr. Sid. Okay? You either loved him or you didn't love him. But we all have to admire and respect and acknowledge the fact that Dr. Sid and a couple of crazies, one of whom's a couple of feet away, had enough vision to say, we need to start a school. And Sid always said he didn't want to start a school while BJ was alive, certainly, but he waited a little bit longer. Then a few years later, Dave Palmer passed away. Dave was called the educator. Dave wanted to run away from a lot of what BJ stood for. Threw a lot of the green books down the elevator shaft. People found green books. Mike Shreve was one of them. Found sets of green books in elevator shafts on the Palmer campus. And they became very valuable at that point. Because it was tough living in the shadow of B.J. Palmer. B.J. was what, 5'2"? About 5'2". In chiropractic, size doesn't matter. Okay? How powerful. Somebody got that one. Okay? Size doesn't matter. He spoke with authority. If you ever listen to his tapes, you can hear the conviction, the commitment, the dedication, and the certainty in his voice that he knew what he was doing was right. Everybody has an aha moment or a WTF moment. I've shared this with some of you. My WTF moment was in second quarter. And we had a faculty member at school by the name of Dr. Ron Watkins. Remember Dr. Watkins? Dr. Watkins, you poked him and the innate just oozed out of this guy. Okay? You could not take a note in his class because he was up here. Faculty were here, rest of us were down here. He graduated in 1943 from Lincoln. Lincoln was absorbed into National, so it's no longer there. He showed us a video fluoroscopy. Who knows what a video fluoroscopy is? Video fluoroscopy is a motion picture x-ray. He showed us a video fluoroscopy of an Atlas toggle adjustment that when the doctor impulsed onto the Atlas oscillated for about a half to 3/4 of a second before it settled into place. Wow, that was hot shit, right? You just had to see it. I contacted him 25 years ago before he passed away. I wanted to try and get it was on a video cassette, and I tried to get it. He wouldn't part with it. He really didn't want to let it go, and it's not on YouTube. We had a faculty member here who had a video fluoroscopy unit about 25 years ago, and about 8 and 10 students, we went to his office to try and duplicate it. I just wasn't that good. Okay, I'm a pretty good toggler. Okay, I can still do my torque. Okay, but have you had your WTF moment? If you've had an aha, I had aha moments, but that was my WTF moment. That's why I'm certain that I know that what we do is right. Okay? And can you say that to all your patients with conviction? Patients come in with 3 questions, right? 3 questions. And it ain't, can you unblock my sodium potassium channels? and it's not my Krebs cycles disrupted. Or I'm having, with all due respect to Dr. Dennis and the people on the national boards, okay? You got to jump through hoops. We all jump through hoops. But we all got there. We all got through. Okay? Gee, my Krebs cycle's disrupted. I'm having trouble absorbing long chain fatty acids. How many? Nobody. It's not real. 3 questions. Can you help me? If you're subluxated, I'm the only one that can help you. Because I'm the only one that knows how to locate and correct vertebral subluxations. How long is it going to take? Shit, damned if I know. See principle number 6. That's my favorite principle. There is no process that does not require time. When you look, and next time I'm going to bring, I got a bunch of subluxation degeneration posters. Every chiropractor should have phases of subluxation degeneration, because where doctor means teacher if you're not educating patients. But doc, it just popped out. Can you just pop it back in? Shit, don't happen that way. Who wore braces on their teeth? How long?
A year.
A year, not long enough. How long? 9 years. 9 years, that's a long time. Night brace retainer? Still wear your retainer, a permanent retainer? Permanent, so it's in there for the rest of your life. No offense, but all for what? Yeah, you hate that. It's like when someone says, "Don't take this personally." Okay? You know the other shoe's going to drop. But all of that is for what? A nice smile. You know what, guys? No one ever died from crooked teeth. Nobody ever died from crooked teeth, and you've made a minimum of a 9-year commitment. Okay? People die from subluxations. Slowly. We look at an x-ray. Should have a normal cervical curve. The vertebral bodies are designed to be balanced on intervertebral discs with a normal cervical curve. First step, letting your kid play Pop Warner football. Okay? Anything like that. Kids fall down all the time. Kids, hell, old people fall down. That's okay. Everybody falls down, but it starts that way. Then the neck gets straight. Then the neck curves backwards a little bit. Then the body loses the ability to hold and support the weight of the head on a normal cervical curve, and the discs will start to wear down. You can't see a disc on an x-ray, but you look at the C5 disc, you compare it to the C4 and the C6. They should all look about the same. One's that you can assume that there's a little bit of disc degeneration going on. And when the disc narrows, nobody realizes that the space for the IVF narrows as well, because the discs help to maintain the IVF. And then because the discs are wearing down, they lose their ability to hold water. And what does the body do? The body brings in arthritic bone spurs. The body is doing a smart thing to help hold the head up, but they treat the arthritis. I remember when I got out of school and they x-rayed my mother. You know, you have phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. My mother was about at phase 4. There was very little I could do. But she had the best health care. Her cousin was the family medical doctor. She had heart bypass surgery twice. She had some of her colon removed. She had chronic migraines. Great health care. It's actually disease care. But when you look at a neck that has a loss of curve, you could say with certainty, Austin, it's taken 15 years to get that way. You got 2 narrow discs. You got the start of bone spurs. This is a commitment. There is no process that does not require time. And how much is it going to cost? One of the things Dr. Sid taught us, you accept all patients, regardless of the condition or the financial ability to pay. It does not make a difference. How long does an adjustment take? If you're doing it right, 2 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes times 20 patients an hour. Okay, 3 minutes, that's 20 patients an hour, that's 140 patients in a day. And that's if you're moving slowly. My busiest day was 262 patients. And I know docs who've seen a lot more than that. And not doing this for the money. A lot of them are paying a hell of a lot less. Okay? Dr. Grassham, who was a very old and dear friend who passed away years ago, the Treehouse is named for him, who's a member of the Board of Trustees for years. Dr. Grassham taught us, live your life as if you're in debt to the spirit because you cannot give the universe. Okay? Sometimes I sit back and say, damn. First of all, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. It was a great time to grow up. I learned from some of the great chiropractors in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and I'm an all-you-can-eat buffet. I took a bite out of Ribley, bite out of Sid, bite out of Umber, bite out of Hoffman, bite out of Grassham, bite out of Sigafus, bite out of Satilli, a bite out of Santo. Amazing, I'm not 300 pounds. Took a bite out of everybody, and that's what made me. You guys will be the sum of all of the docs that you've been exposed to over the years. Find mentors. Attach yourselves to the hips. I used to sit at DE and just listen, and I'm not a good listener. I'm a good talker. But my mother said you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You're supposed to hear twice as much as you say. Dr. Rubin talked about listening. Okay? And there are 5 stages of listening. You want to get to empathic listening, where you actually listen with your heart to patients. Okay? Nobody listens anymore. Everybody is screaming so loud they want to be heard. But nobody really knows how to listen. Listening is an art form that is lost today. Patience and what Dr. Rubin was saying, nonverbal. 80 to some sources up to 93% of communication is nonverbal. Watch people, observe people, but stay on track, stay focused. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to help others, period, unconditionally. That's why I wear to do, to give, to love, to serve. Rarely leave home without it. Okay? And I wear my father's wedding ring. They got married in 1943. I never take this off. And he's been gone 34, 35 years. Okay? I like to have stuff like that. This just reminds, when I get a little off track, I look down at that. It just reminds me of what my purpose is. My purpose is to pass on to the next generation, all of you guys, like my mentors and role models, passed on to me the message. Okay? I think might have been Mike Nathanson. Mike was a little guy, okay? A lunatic and a half. Absolute lunatic. Mike was a lunatic. He would get up on Friday. If you were the last chiropractor on earth, would chiropractic survive? And Dr. Sigafus used to talk about chiropractoids. Chiropractors in name only, who do everything but chiropractic. Okay? As Sid used to say, our brand of chiropractic is a small piece of the pie. The subluxation-based, vitalistic, philosophically based branch of the profession is the smaller branch of the profession. Many of them would sell their soul for a few shekels and to be absorbed into the medical profession. The reason we are still here, 1895, it's 105 and 22, is 120, where I said there'd be no math involved. 120, we're around for 127 years because we are separate, we are distinct, we are unique, we are different, we have something of value to offer people, and they don't know it because we do a shitty job of telling them. All we got to do is tell the truth. And on your life, the 2-minute commercial thing, okay? I used to show it to when I taught the 6th quarter business class, I used to show it, and Dr. Rubin in it would say, patients would ask him, how come no one ever told me this before? And his answer is, I'm telling you now. Patients will ask you, why didn't my medical doctor tell me this? Doesn't matter. I'm telling you now. Dr. Sid taught us, you plow the fields, you look ahead, not behind you. What's done is done, man. It's over with. Can't change that. But we have the ability to change the future by educating people one at a time, in groups, What we're doing here is going to spread out geometrically. Okay? You're one doctor, one office, it spreads out arithmetically. We got 50 some odd people here. Next time we want to have 100 because we want to maybe move it onto campus and get a big ass room. All right? We do this quarterly because it's the right thing to do. Man, I love my grandkids. I could be with my grandkids. I'm going to stay, but I'm going to leave a little early-ish tonight because I like kissing my grandkids goodnight when they stay over. I'm Papa. Man, that's the best. Is there anything better than having grandkids? Definition of grandchildren, sorry, Bruce. God's reward to you for not killing your kids when they were young. I didn't have to worry about killing my kids. They were good. They're good kids. They still are. But grandkids, man, that's the word. That's why they're called grand, man, because there ain't nothing better than being a grand. There's nothing better than being Papa. My granddaughter and I went for a walk this afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon. Just the two of us hanging out, playing tag. She's walking on the, we're just having a shitload of time. It's no filters when we're here. I could drop, if I wanted to drop an F-bomb, Dr. would say, go ahead, whatever you want to do. Okay? We do this because it's the right thing to do. And in 10, 15, 20 years, hopefully you guys will be doing this as well. That's why we're here. That's why all of us that are DCs are here on a Saturday night, because we got skin in the game. We are invested in this profession. Everything, I'm sure Dr. Rubin, Dr. Salzinger, Dr. Jim Ribley over there, Dr. Bruce, everybody, Dr. Mike, Dr. Leslie, well, maybe not Dr. Mike, no, just kidding. Every one of us owes everything we have. And when I say everything we have, that's tangible and intangible. Everything we have to chiropractic. And this is our way of giving back, because you cannot give the universe. That's why we do this. That's why we're going to continue to do this. That's why I'm still teaching. Hey guys, if it's not fun, I'll be gone. But right now, it's still fun. There are a whole lot of things we could all be doing, but we're here investing our time in you. And just remember, B.J. Palmer said, the candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. It is always better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Okay? I'm glad you're all here. Thank you, Dr. Ribley, for doing this. Thank you all, and just enjoy the rest of the evening and have a ball. Enjoy that poster, too. Oh, hello. Goodbye.
Do you know what time it is?
Yes. It is 8:40.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
This one? Mine says that same thing. Somebody mentioned about green books. You all familiar that B.J. Palmer wrote 30-some green books? And now, I asked you if you'd speak, remember? And I said, you come down tonight. We're going to have you speak. And you all heard that story about Dr. Amber, and she's in practice now a couple of years. The theme of the story tonight is about being on purpose. And I think when she went through life, that was the focal spot. On purpose, on purpose, on purpose. And then not even that, opening her office. So if she could share a few words with us, it would be appreciated.
Thank you. As always. Okay, let's see where to clip this.
You can hold it, clip it, or whatever.
Okay, I'll clip it. All right. Well, good evening. Are all of you students? That's so powerful, because like Dr. River said, well, I call him River, but Dr. Ribley. But when he said, I started my first quarter, that was 2017. And do you still go to the school in first quarter?
No, they took that class away from me.
Okay. So I had Dr. Harmon's class, and he had invited Dr. Ribley in. And it's like my first quarter. I think it was like week 1 or 2, maybe 2. And here's this guy who comes in, and he's like, I stretch! And I'm like, whoa. And I'm sitting in the front row. But it just woke me up, just the power in his words and what he was saying, and just how vibrant he was. I was like, okay, what is this? I was new to chiropractic. So it piqued my interest, and I decided, Dr. Harmon had passed out flyers, and I decided to come to a Spizz night. There were 2 rows, of students. Maybe there was 10 of us, maybe. And I had come with two of my now best friends, and we had just only met a few weeks prior to that. And like Dr. Ribley said, I had decided to give myself the gift of inner winners. The reason I decided that was because when I came back to school, I came back with a purpose. So I had a whole separate career before I became a student. I worked in the fashion and retail industry. I lived in Paris. I had a son. I was building a family. I was not thinking about anything in the healthcare field. I actually wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. And playing volleyball at 19 years old, I had an injury and I created 3 bulging discs in my low back, and that killed my career. No orthos could fix me. Everyone in the medical field said, well, this is something you'll have to deal with, and that wasn't acceptable for me. So fast forward some time, you mentioned how chiropractic is a windy road. So my road was a bit windy to get here. It took me about 15 years before I kind of fell and leaned into what chiropractic had to offer me. At that time, I was at kind of the lowest point of my life, yet making the most money I had ever made. 6 figures in retail, doing great. Living in Tampa, and things just didn't seem right. You know, I don't know about you guys, if you ever been to that point where you wake up every day and you're going to this job or you're doing this thing and it just doesn't fuel you. It's not filling your bucket. I felt like I was giving and not getting anything in return. So I went on this soul-searching journey, and I spent some time. I decided to move back to Atlanta, be closer to family, and I spent the time reading and studying and praying and meditating and fasting and praying and reading. I mean, you name it. I was reading many different cultures, many different scripts, not just the Bible. I'm talking about everything. So it's so funny because you talked about dreams, and not to sound cheesy, but I had one of those. I remember probably 9 months into my journey, I took a nap one day. I like to take naps. Naps are good for you. Take them. Yes, me too, sunshine. I love my naps. So I took a nap, and in my nap, in my dream, I'm a very vivid dream where I see, I smell, I feel, I can hear everything. It's in color. And I was in my practice. I was in the office. I was adjusting people. It was multi-purpose, and my son was practicing with me. Now, at the time, he was 3 or 4. I couldn't see his face. He had grown up to be a man. I just knew it was my child, right? And I woke up from that dream, and the first thing I did was call the school. And I was like, I'm going to call Life University and see how I get enrolled in this program, because I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been waiting for 9 months to find that answer, to find that thing. And I didn't hesitate. And I found out that I really only needed like 2 classes to actually get into the program, because I told you I'd switched my degree from biology to fashion and retail management. 2 classes for 15 years kept me away from chiropractic. So I was like, okay, all right, lesson number 1. So I decided to get in school, and then here we are a few weeks later, and I'm at Spizz night. I never looked back. I sat in the seats where you guys were sitting. I soaked in everything that Dr. Ribley was saying. I listened to some speakers. I listened to what everyone was saying. And I was like, I need more. Like, this is great. This is just a little sprinkle of chiropractic, but I need more. And I decided to give myself inner winners because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to do something that I had never done before and be different than I had ever been before. See, I was going down this path of thinking I knew what I wanted, and I was like, no, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to be a fashion and retail manager. I'm going to go into runway production. I'm going to live in Paris and make these beautiful and that was not for me. That's not where God had intended me to be. So I decided to do something different because in order to get to some place I had never been, I got to put on some different shoes or get in a different car or go down a road that I had never traveled before. So it was scary as hell. I'm not even going to lie. And then my parents were like, what are you doing? You know, I'm like, I'm going to go back to school to become a chiropractor. And they're like, okay, you're like 30 something and you got a kid and a whole family, what are you doing? And I was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I knew in that moment that I was there for a reason. And my why was I wanted to be able to leave Carter a legacy. I wanted to be able to give him something that I had never had myself. Now, I had great parents. They taught me everything that they knew, but I didn't know about chiropractic. I grew up in Kennesaw. This is like, we're 20 minutes away from the school and no one had ever talked to me about it. So when you think people know, they don't know. You cannot be afraid to have that conversation with someone. I don't care if you're running on the treadmill and they're running next to you, if you're at the grocery store, if you see the man in Best Buy with the limp, you need to spread the message and not be scared to do that, okay? You're gonna learn that during your time in this institution. So I decided to do something different. And it started with me coming to school and then going to Inner Winters. And when I tell you that was a challenge of a lifetime, but I don't think I would be, it would make me cry if I really leaned into that story. I don't think I would be the person I was right now, who I am today, had it not been for the experience that I had at Inner Winters. So much that I had to go back and do it again. Probably like a year later, I think I went back. I needed more. I needed to dig deeper. So you're gonna have to dig deep inside you to be able to serve. You can't do this from a surface level. It's not on the surface. It's inside, right, Dr. Leslie? It's inside. It's in here. It's deep in here. If you don't know why you're here, what your purpose is, what the mission that you're on, then that fire will start to dwindle. It'll go down, and you're like, oh, school, oh, boards, dang. Oh, Dr. Harmon, not again. You know what I mean? When he gets to talking and what do you still do? I don't remember what the class is that you kicked all of our butts in, but he's got some. What is spinal? Yes. Spinal. I'm telling you, school is going to be challenging, but if you have to lean into it. You got to take it. I tell students all the time, everything that you learn while you're in school is going to matter the moment that you step foot on the other side of here. Mm-hmm. You're going to see a patient who is going to walk in and they're going to have an issue that a medical doctor has not been able to answer, but you have the knowledge and the information because you have professors and people that are teaching you, molding you, training you, and preparing you for that. So you've got to lean into that, but you have to hold on to your why. Why am I here? What is my purpose? Because the days are long. Sometimes you're exhausted. You have a whole life outside of your office. You're going to go in and you're going to be like, oh my God, I got bills to pay. Oh my God, my kids. I have 2 now, by the way. I have 2. I had my second one in the pandemic in my second quarter of clinic when I was an ambassador, getting ready to graduate, taking online schools. In December 22nd, so if you can do the math, that's a few days after 11th quarter ends. We've got, a 3-week break? I was back in clinic seeing patients a few weeks later because of my why, because I knew why I was doing what I was doing. Yeah. I love my son. I love him. But when I was adjusting while I was carrying him, every time I would toggle or do a good full spine or release something, he would move. And I go, oh, this is deep. This is really deep, right? So I knew that I had to keep pushing to finish that. I was not going to settle, and I did not want to stop. I took all my board exams after I had him, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and PT in a row, and finished on time, right? So don't tell me it's not possible. That's right. It's possible. That's right. Okay? I served the entire time of my schooling, probably except for 3 quarters with Dr. Rubin as a student ambassador. I also became a member of Alpha Delta Epsilon. I went to 2 Inner Winters. I trained. I worked hard. I stayed the course and I dug deep. I came to Spizz nights. I went to seminars. I stayed around people who could feed my fire, who would fill my bucket, because why you do what you do is vitally important, and you have to have people pouring into you. You cannot do this by yourself. You need a village, right? You need to come to Spizz nights and bring friends, bring your colleagues, and you have to keep coming when you're on the precipice of graduating and even after that, because the work is on the other side. You guys have it easy right now. There's some days where I'm like, yeah, I'd go back to first quarter and start all over again to be just that innocent to what's really the work on this side of things. When you get out, it's going to require a lot of you. So we talked a lot about lasting purpose. Lasting purpose is not just a phrase. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. It's a responsibility. We charge you with that when you accept enrollment at our institution. When you decide to come to Life University, we charge you to carry that torch forward of lasting purpose, to give, to love, to serve out of a spirit of abundance, expecting nothing in return. because sometimes you're not going to get what you think. You're not going to get $100,000 when you graduate. You may not get the best grade on the board exam. You may not even pass it, but you keep doing it because there's something there that keeps pulling at you. And you have to know what that why is. And then you have to be okay with spreading the message. So I challenge you guys, do something different. Connect with people that you've never connected with before. Go talk to someone who sits in the front row or the person who sits in the back. Move your seat in the classroom. You want to be something greater, get out of your comfort zone. Start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Because the greatness doesn't happen in our comfort zone. It happens when the 101-year-old patient is laying on your table and you're like, okay, cannot do full spine on you. Left my activator at home. We didn't do this in clinic. But he doesn't know that. So what do? You love on them. I tell my patients all the time, you just needed some TLC. You just needed someone to love you. You just needed someone to put their hands on you with the right intention. And that's what it's all about, right? So you're learning all the technical things and all the science terms and the bio and how to adjust and all that. That's great. Once you learn it, that's fine. But you need to digest it. It needs to become one with you, because there's going to be days where you can't move something, but that doesn't mean you can't give them a healing, right? So you have to be okay with not getting it right every single time, especially as a new doc. So I can speak from a little different because they're seasoned. They've been out here a lot longer than I have. I'm still learning. But my patients don't know that. They don't even ask me how long I've been out of school. And then I think I've had maybe 1 or 2 patients. When did you graduate? I'm like, I don't know, a few years ago. How long you been seeing patients? A few years. That's what I tell them. A few years, because you have. You saw them in clinic. You know, you count that time. That matters. When I was getting ready to graduate, it was the happiest and the saddest time of my life, because, not saddest, but I was going to miss being in school. I was going to miss being in my bubble, right? I was going to miss having colleagues and classmates to spend time with, to study with, to learn with. So I try to come up to campus as often as my family allows me to, because now I have a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they keep me very busy. But I bring them with me, you know, they'll tell you. I bring them up there with me. They come, fall CE or whether it's life leadership, I don't care. I'm bringing, because it's all about family. But I was given a very special task when I graduated, and I take it extremely seriously. Not many people get this, and I don't say this lightly, but because I didn't expect it. But I was awarded with the Lasting Purpose Award. Now, I wasn't expecting that, and it was given to me. And I was like, wow, I earned this? The school thought that much of me? That's why I'm here. Why are you here? Why are you here? Are you here because your mom's here? Are you here because you want to be here? Are you here because your friend's here? Or are you here because you want to be here? Are you here because you want to change lives? You want to be the difference? I have a board in my office. It's a wooden board? Like 2x4 plank. It's broken in half, and on one side it says, Amber, you are the difference. Sits up, and he wrote it for me, 2017. It stays there. It's my reminder. I have a couple other cool things, but they'll have to go to Inner Winners to find out what those are that stay in my office. I look at that every single day, because I ask myself on my tired days, on my stressed out days, 1, why am I here? And 2, am I the difference? If you can't answer those questions, then you need to clock out and go home. You don't need to lay your hands on people. We're energy. We are matter. We are energy. We are innate intelligence. How we touch and put our hands on people, the hugs we give, the words we speak, our intention and everything is so powerful. You can change somebody's life just by touching them. When you realize that, when you really, really realize that, you'll be like waking up every day going, yes, I get to do this. I get to change lives. I get to be the difference. I get to give an adjustment. I get to save someone from an illness, from an ache. It's not about pain. It's here. It's not in the joint. It's here and it's here. You have to tap in. Please, while you're in school, I challenge each and every one of you, lean into your why. If I see you again, I'm going to ask you, why are you here? Not why do you want to be a chiropractor, but why are you here? Why did you decide to come here tonight? When you get up on Monday and you go to class, why are you in class? Are you in class to listen to the lecture and pass a test? And I'm going to be on the back on TikTok and scrolling. I'm going to watch the game. It plays a couple bets. I know. I had friends that did that. They sat in the back of the classroom. If you're sitting in the back of the classroom, I'm going to ask you, because how you do anything is what? How you do everything. So if you sit in the back of a classroom, are you going to sit in the back of this profession? If you're sitting back there and you're not paying attention to Dr. Harmon who's talking to you or any other professor who took their time to teach you, are you going to treat the profession the same way? So I didn't do that. Where did I sit, Dr. Harmon?
Front row.
What front row? The front row in 127 or the floor? He don't remember. He's so, don't. I sat on the floor in 127. You know that handicap row?
Not on the floor. She was on a chair.
I was in a chair, right, not literally on the floor. But we pulled our desks
There's
to
a couple of movable desks.
to the front. That's where I sat because I want to be in front of chiropractic. I want to lead in this profession. I don't want to be in the back. My work is not in the back of the classroom. My work is up front. It's loud. I have questions. I want answers. I want to understand. I want to be tapped in, and I want to connect. If you're not doing that in school, what makes you think you're going to do that when you graduate? You need to tap in today. You're not a chiropractor when you get some tassels or a degree. You're a chiropractor today. Are you willing to fight today? If I had asked you, are you a doc or are you a student? You're a student. What quarter are you? Huh? You're in peak? Oh, you're in pre-DC. Oh, I love that even more. So you're right. You're coming into it. Yeah, you ready? Are you ready? It's not going to be easy. You don't want it to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But you're here for a reason. Know that reason. I started with a class of 208 people. Not everybody made it through. I think he told me, look to your left and your right. Everyone's not going to be here in a few quarters. 5th quarter will try you. 7th quarter will break you. Get into clinic. Good luck when you start taking boards. So I'm going to ask you again, are you sitting in the back of the classroom, not paying attention to your professors? Are you wasting your time not learning? Because the one thing that professor might teach you on that one day that you didn't pay attention to, I guarantee you will be something that your patient will ask you. And you'll be like, damn, I don't remember that day in class. I know I learned it. Or to be on the boards. So you need to move up, be the difference. Don't sit in the back. I don't care. I really don't care if your friends are sitting in the back of 127. Move your ass up. That's not where you belong. Not if you want to lead in this profession and change lives, because those people in the back of the classroom, they're not going to live the same life that you and I are leading. You're here for a reason because you guys chose to come. This is the front of the classroom. You want to be in the front, you come to Spizz Nights. You want to be in the front, you go to Inner Winners. You want to be in the front, you serve. You want to be in the front, you lead. You go to conferences, you go to seminars, you find mentors, you tap in, you dig deep. You don't get to sit in the back. So if I hear that they're sitting in the back, Dr. Harmon, I'm coming in. I'm going to remember faces. Yeah. Because I don't like that, right? Be intentional about why you're becoming a chiropractor, why you're fighting for this profession. And the last thing I'm going to challenge you with, because I don't think Dr. Koch is teaching them anymore, it's, who's your philosophy teacher now? Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, do you guys know those principles? Oh, crickets. Yeah, you should learn those. You should learn them, not for the purpose of an exam, because the exam will come and go. That's a brief period of time. But for the purpose of your profession. We are a philosophy-based institution. If you don't understand what the principles are of chiropractic and why you're here today, why we do what we do, you will be challenged every day in practice. When someone comes in and challenges the authority that you thought that you said about your profession, you don't have any leg to stand on because you can't speak to it. So I challenge you to learn those principles too. I know quite a few of them. So dig in, dig deep, go harder. Next week when you show back up, do something different, just one thing. Just do one thing different this coming week that you have never done before. Watch how your life will change. Watch something different happen for you, right? When you set intentions, you start manifesting, things shift, things happen. Show up, be there, be present. It'll pay off. I promise you it will pay off for you. I learned how to manifest and manipulate time. Remember that? Yeah, I do that quite often. That's my superpower. I bend time. I warp time. I warp time. We can have a separate conversation about that, but when I tell you there's things that you can manifest, each of you has a superpower within you and you've yet to tap into it. And do you think I'm kidding? Ask someone who's been to Inner Winners if they have superpowers. And if you want to know what yours are, take your ass to Inner Winners. That's the only way I can describe it. But that's all I have for you tonight. I'm very excited to see each and every one of your faces. It's amazing, amazing that you filled this space up, this room. This is a sacred place. I love being in this space, and I'm just so happy to have the opportunity to speak to you all.
It's an inner winter at the time to have a love affair with yourself.
It's a love affair with yourself. You better fall. If you don't fall in love with yourself, if you don't love yourself, sunshine, who's going to love you? You have to love yourself, right? So thank you all. It's been a pleasure. Of course. There you go.
She's been to all our Spizz nights. She's been to Inner Winners, and she at least wanted to show her face because she was busy today to be down here just to be with us. If you got the theme that was going on from the time when BJ said, why you do what you do, because I love. And did you get the same theme that was going on from BJ, Dr. Rubin, Amber, Carol? Lola. Leslie. Did you get that same theme that went through all of this? And that's the thing to pick up. We're going to do a little something very quickly. I bring these two chairs over here, like this. We're going to do this as just a little event to show you something that can be done when you're focused on what you want. Anybody that's done this before, I don't want you to come up. I only got a couple of these that we can do.
Three more if you want them.
Now, what is this? Board. And what's it consist mostly of? Space? There's more space in here than there is anything else. It's something like what's between your ears. Except we give a lot of ownership to what's between our ears. It's like it's really real, okay? And so, let's say this is the space between your ears. But your dream is down here, and what's on this little space thing between your ears is it's chattering to you all the time. Let's say I was gonna go through this board. I want to go down here. Okay, I'm going to go down here. So I have this here, and it's busy talking all the time. It says, "You can't really do it. Who do you think you are? You'll have to pass 4 boards. Nobody can really do it." You really think you're going to pass that exam next week? Come on now. You didn't study enough.
Does any of these things talk to you all the time? You got a little thing going on in between your ears. Oh. It's gonna be difficult if you try this. You aren't a lucky person. Don't you know where you came from? Who would like to demonstrate this thing? To show people how it's done, who's never done it before? Come on. Woo! Around this way. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get ourselves centered. Get yourself focused. So I'm centered. I focus on my energy. And so what I'm going to do is, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. So I'm going to be focused now where I want to be. You have a dream? I want this to represent something for you.
Okay.
Can you focus on a dream that you'd like to have?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to put that down here. Get your hand down here. Whatever hand you're going to, your right hand. Feel the dream there. Because the dream is where you're going to go.
That's right.
Okay? Okay, straighten back up. This is the bullshit in the world that says, don't go for it. Don't go for your dream. Mm-hmm. How many of us focus on what our limitations are instead of what we really want in life? We're so busy playing off what the world's told us. It's going, but we want to be here. So, now, BJ said, one of the most important tools you have to live an innate life is education. You don't let education run your life, you use it. So if I was going to go for my dream, and I wanted to be down here, I'd look at life and say, well, which way did the grain grow? I think the grain is like this, so I think this would be a better and easier way to get to my dream. Okay? Now, next thing is, I got eyes. So if I were doing this, I'd want my eyes open so I know what I'm doing. Because I'd like to come down in the middle and not on the sides here and beat the chair. So I get to use my brain now for these purposes, the tool to get to here. But my focus now is to be here. Now, if I was going to do this, I think this would be a good thing to use here because it's padded.
Right.
Why would I want to hurt myself? I got a nice padded hand here. So I'd want to be focused where I want to be. I'm going to get down here to where my dream is. I'm going to get the feel. When I really got that feel, I'm going to come back up here, focus where I want to be, and I'm going to go for my dream. And this barrier doesn't exist. I put no energy into it. I energize this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, whenever you got that self set, I'm going to let you go for your dream. Now, this is your dream. Make sure this is a metaphor for getting to the dream.
You got it.
Be focused where you want to be. And when you're set, you just go for whatever you want to do. Boo! Now, what was going through your mind when you were doing this?
I wanted to be as solid as possible in my conviction.
Okay. So how did it feel when you went through it and you landed where you wanted to be?
A little tingle.
Okay. What was the feeling inside yourself?
Solid focus.
Okay. So the thing is, as easy as it is to get to your dream if you eliminate what's up here. You use only your intellect for the tool to get to the dream. You don't use your educated to be the dream. How many of us spend our time thinking things over all the time, but not about going to the dream? Thank you.
You got it. Is there anybody else that would like to have that feeling? Go for it. Okay. You got something that this represents for you?
Mm-hmm. Do I need to share it?
No, you can if you want. That's totally up to you. As long as you know what it is. And you focus on where you want to be. Hey! So, would you share what you felt when you went through it?
Right. Inevitable.
Inevitable? Right. Okay. As easily as you went for the dream, that's how your dreams can unfold when you're focused on where you want to be and not what the world's given to you. Thank you. Is there a female that would like to do it?
Don't be in the back of the classroom. This is the moment to come to the front.
Out of your comfort zone.
So, what you can do, because I'm only going to ask one more time, what you can do is go home and think about it. I wish I would have did it. I wish I'd have done it. I wish. Does anybody want to do it? Okay.
No female?
He'll be a female for the night.
Got a heavy beard for a female.
Oh, were we still? Does it still have to be a female?
No.
I just heard it. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, you're what?
wanna do it,
Yeah, that's right. You're whatever you want to be right here now.
I wanted to go to the front of the class.
Make sure it's
Put
the chairs need to be brought together so it's just a little bit. Okay, that's good. That's good. So it doesn't flip up. Okie dokie. Oh! What was your experience? Share your experience with it.
Felt good.
It felt good?
Felt like.
Okay.
Felt right.
Okay, good. Now, you can sit down a minute. Years ago, I was at a meeting. There's like 2,000 people there. And I said, would somebody like to do this? And this little girl about this big gets up and says, comes up, running up and says, I want to do it. So my head got into it. I said, oh my God, we're going to start out with a little girl, and she's just a little thing, and it's because I've seen people, I've had people that do karate, martial arts, sit there, and they'll come up and they'll beat the shit out of it because they use it as a martial art thing, not as what we're talking about. So, oh my, so she got up there and she goes, right through it. 9 months ago, your daughter River, she's this big.
Just about.
Yeah. So everybody's doing it. She says, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. I mean, she's just a teeny little skinny thing too.
6-year-old.
You know, how old was she?
6.
6. So she comes up and goes through it. She didn't have a lot of stuff going on up here. We listened to you got to step up to the front of the class, and at this particular point, I don't even know why any reason for me to talk about the next part, because most of you don't want to get to the front of the class. You'd rather sit in the back and watch the fucking world go by, because you were not born on the right side of the tracks. You don't have a silver spoon in your mouth. You came out of poverty. You had whatever fucking things going on in your head. I have a couple people here I'm going to ask like to share their inner winners experience, and I want to talk about inner winners in just a moment. Austin, would you like to stand up here and share your experience? Just your experience. Even 10 words or less. Last time he talked, he talked for 45 minutes. Nobody got any pizza or anything.
All right, he's So basically, I went to Inner Winners. The first time I went to Inner Winners was before I came to chiropractic school, and I was really at a crossroads in my life. I was like, I could go to chiropractic, I could not, and so I came to Spizz night before I was even a student here, and basically my parents kind of signed me up for it, and I was like, and the weekend before I got in a huge fight with them, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going. And my mom, in the way mothers do, looked at me and goes, you don't have an option. and I can't thank her enough for doing that, because that was really at a pivotal point in my life when I needed that. I needed that experience to figure out where I need to go, figure out what I need to do, figure out, is chiropractic the reason, what I'm meant to do? And after that, I went and I experienced it, and I cried, and I made so many great friends, and I made so many memories that I went out knowing exactly what I was supposed to do. And so when the next one came around, I was, I think, third quarter, and I hit that point where I was like, okay, I'm in chiropractic school. Is it for me? Is it for me? And so I went to my next Inner Winners, and then right then I met more people. I had better experiences. I really dug deep, and I was able to anchor back to what I realized at the first Inner Winners, and I was just like, yes, this is for me. This is what I'm meant to do, and it really just breaks you down and tears you down to the point where you're like, it's a yes or no. It's a, this is meant for me. It's a, you're speaking to who you really are, because there's really no other, it doesn't let you overthink things. It doesn't let you get to a point where you can be like this, that, million options. It's, this is my decision. This is who I am. Boom. Yeah.
Thank you. I've got time for one other.
You have one more board that works for me.
What's that?
You have one more board that works for me.
Oh, that board for? Okay. I'll let you come up rather quickly, and we'll let you take care of it. First quarter student. First quarter student, first one here.
On the other side.
Come on this side.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Oh! What was your experience here?
It was very inspiring.
Inspiring, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to use that. Thank you.
Hold on to it.
Yes, please.
We have quite a few people here that's been to Interwinters, and they all got their story they could tell. It's important enough from our position, and Life Force Docs have put scholarships together to help students if you want to come to the next Interwinters program. We have a few openings left. The most you'd have to pay is your own room and board, but anyways, Dr. McCullen, Leslie, Dr. Lupo, there's about 9 or 10 docs who put money in so that you folks can come if you want to come, okay? What you have to do is you have to write a letter saying why you'd want to come to Interwinters, and you can get it, you're eligible for a scholarship. We only have a few left. I'm going to pass the form out. If you're really interested in coming this next Interwinters, which is March 3rd through the 5th, you have to make your decision tonight. March 2nd. It's going to be also on the 3rd, too.
Check with Alex. Show now.
I thought it was the first, second, and third, and fourth.
And for you, it'll be the first.
Show up whatever the hell you want.
It's a Thursday through Sunday. Starts at Thursday night, 4 o'clock, dinner, and ends on Sunday at noon, okay? First weekend of March. Who's here that's coming to the next Interwinters? Raise your hands if you're coming. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask any of them what their experiences are. But remember, we have a few openings. If you want to come, we got a paper that you can take with you here. Right here. You can pick one up. If you want to kind of know what Interwinters is all about, there's a pamphlet here. You can take that. If you don't want the scholarship, you can write a check out or give us a credit card for $13.97. I would prefer you do that. And then we'll just save the scholarship for the next time for other people then. But if you want to take advantage of the scholarship, now's the time to do it, okay? Now, we'll wrap it up. Thing what I want you to do is make sure you tell your friends, come back the next time that we do this. We do this every quarter. It's usually the weekend after Life Force. And I expect to see every one of you sometime during the Life Force weekend meeting. Just popping your head in. Good speakers that are there. Doesn't cost you anything. Our classes, you can get in and out according to whatever works for you. But remember, it's the Life Force docs that are giving the scholarships out to help you be a better student, be a better person, and make that difference, to be that difference, okay? So one last thing I have is I need to have you fold the chairs up, put them alongside the wall. If everything goes according to Hoyle, Larry's going to come down here with some pizzas, and we'll have lots of pizza here.